Kruno on Love, May 24, 2016. I was talking about how every culture has a point. So, point of the Western, good part of the Western culture regarding that love thing is the freedom, is the freedom of choosing, or freedom of going out, choosing the person you want, wanting the person you want. You can't really choose. You can choose if you like female and 17, but not if you're female and 47. So, so you have that. That is a good part. What's a good part about the Asian system of love? That means marriage. Well, a good part is it's pretty much a fixed thing for you. You don't have to think about it. Your parents gonna do it for you. Oh, you can suggest you can have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You know, it's not forbidden. Simply, they're gonna be final word there, and the whole business gonna be done between parents. And when your time comes, when you grow up children, you will realize in the meantime that warm feeling around your genitalia, what you had when you were 16, 17, when you and was maybe not the wise way of choosing your marriage partner, but it was how well your families are, you know, connected. Are they from the same religion and ethnicity? Of course, it should be like that because then you're from the same culture. Then you know details where the spoon goes. You know, I mean, on which side of the plate, how many inches. So this also makes sense, and it's a stable union. Love comes later on, and what else? It's economic union in the essence. And then this is exactly how they see it. They see it as a business, as economic union. You know, so everybody has a certain point. There are bad parts as well. You know, Asian marriage is basically pimping, and there is lots of rape and pimping, and lots of their songs are talking about this. You know, how girl was in love with one boy, and then her parents sold her to somebody who was maybe 3 times her age. Wrinkled. How romantic is it? Just, you know, this is necessity of life. That guy provided how many surgeries for how many members of a family at the same time. So, you know, give and take, life is always suffering. And in Western love story, girl which is beautiful and so desired when she's 17, when she's a time to be sold to prospective buyer from the Asian perspective, she's, you know, going from a dick to a dick for a couple of drinks or for a ride, snorting crystal meth, one abortion when she's 18, another one when she's 23, 24, and a couple of hundreds hangovers, heavy ones in a life, plus a couple of thousand normal hangovers, and then by the age of 30 you have basically a washed up hooker, you know, party girl. So this is another negative thing, isn't it? Yeah, you know, too many parties. Guys, I think that the best to the perfection soul people can get in this life is if they're lucky enough to purify their auras so system cannot influence them, and if they're lucky enough to find what James Barkley, and this is not his term, this is term one of the reptiles he was working with, Trinity. Trinity is the souled woman, and the Neo is the souled man. So if those two meet, and I apologize if I'm offending anybody, but a good example of that would be for me Carissa Conti and Montag, because they are both researchers, they are both very creative in that work. I don't know them personally at all. I just contacted her and I read her book and I read his book and fascinated by his work. But you know, these guys. And this is, for example, something very positive in relationship. That kind of support relationship. Yeah. So this is yeah. I think this is the best what you can get in life. Somebody like that. who understands the story. And then better thing than that is even that, the spiritual connection you have in yourself with that warm, watery feeling which is kind of spreading through your chest, and then it's kind of just go anywhere. It makes you feel so refreshed and energized and secure in yourself. Yes, and this is another thing I want to say. How do you know that the other person loves you? Well, the feeling, and I'll tell you this, the feeling of security that I had with the women that loved me at that time, when you're close to her and when you feel safe and free. I am with her, but I feel both safe and free and exactly where I should be. That feeling is the feeling when she also likes you strongly and accepts you. And I think this is the feeling you should go for it. So that's me on my love. What's my experience in my love? I guess you got it from this video. What's my experience? Too bad there is no more of it among us on this planet. I think that all of us should de-traumatize ourselves, that all of us should, in meditation, go through different traumas and to see those situations from refreshed memory and from perspectives of other people as well, other angles, even physical angles. If you're observing something, what happened in your childhood, you can in meditation put yourself in a corner of the room and observe everything from there, then from your perspective and of the perspective of other people in the story. And you can really incredibly learn a lot, because soul can really connect with the matrix, soul matrix at that time, and understand and touch the emotions at that time. It's just the magic of meditation. Am I doing another digression? Are you forgiving me? Because this is simply a hint, and good meditator can understand the hint I'm about to give. Is technique I developed a long time ago regarding the traumatizing itself. It goes like this. In meditation, when you're deep and connected as much as you can be, you can go into the feeling and the memory of the trauma, just like go there, just enter there like entering the room and start just feeling it. And it's gonna be painful, but don't worry, it's not really, nothing is really serious. You're now de-traumatizing yourself. And then you will go through different painful memories and feelings, and you will feel like as if you're in a dark room and darkness is lifting up, and then you will see a furniture. And you will see some garbage, you will clean that garbage, you will see furniture, you will understand the furniture. That means you will understand the context of that time when that was happening. Trauma can happen for somebody in the 70s. Understand, okay, the time of the 70s, it was a communism, it was that kind of mentality. People been drinking lots of alcohol, people been really dumbed down, so people been doing this. And then you go into, you feel that person, you really connect with that person. Oh, that person suffered so much, he was stupid, he was manipulated, he was simply doing what he was thinking. But, and you start to de-traumatize yourself, you start to understand and forgive. And also that pain starts to lift your chest. So this is, lifting, fixing those cracks. And when you manage to do that, then you will be able to love. Because every single trauma, every single scar which happened in your life is taking part of your prana and is closing your heart for a little bit. This is why prostitutes is like a cliche. Typical prostitute is raped by her father, and family members then passed on, and then she's now on the street, and she's full of scars. And it happens that these prostitutes find from time to time nice guys, but then it ends up that these guys end up without a wallet and a credit card, and yeah, like a Jenny, Lake District. So in her case, this is what happens. So this is why it's important, and now you understand the digression, to de-traumatize yourself in this sense, and that's another thing I have to give you about the love. Another little mind game. You all know the mind game of project, okay? So it goes like this. Somebody who looked like me hurted you. It was a man. He was in his 40s. He was not that good looking. He was dominant. I don't know. Maybe he had Slavic accent. So he hurted you, and maybe he had shirt like this, or teeth like that. And now you are projecting that feeling of a hate or a fear on me, and so on. So that can happen easily in your love relationships, and that can be manipulated astrally incredibly. And this was happening so much. So it goes like this. If system doesn't want you to hook up with somebody, of course they will if they need to prepare breakup and negative emotions towards that person. And I was already talking about this immediate connection, soul to soul connection. Soul is touching another soul in a container body. You are also, of course, in a container, but your souls are touching, and this can no danger. Eyes like what they see, and the heart is pleased but what heart seeks. And then you end up connecting each other, and then the next day nothing. Okay, so what happened? And then you start even feeling a fear of her. She reminds you on this and that. You remind her on father, blah blah, and then animosity, and then immediately some other guys with distractions and so on. These are for us incredibly deep and metaphysical and mysterious games, but these are the routine moves of a matrix. That's sophisticated, because for a matrix, what are you? You're a glowing dot now in this dimension, in the third and in the body. You're a glowing dot. It has a immediate feedback, and now matrix sees, okay, that dot is now empowered by 20%, and that dot is empowered by 20%, and now they're cooperating. And now matrix is trying to figure it out, your progression, and it says you're both empowering each other, you're very good for each other, you're going to continue being together. Immediately you're going to start discovering this world is something different. You're going to start communicating and reflecting, and because you're both souls, you're both reflecting, you're both trying to figure out the truth. This is something what matrix doesn't want. Okay? And then matrix going to start matrix must do something, because in the interest of the matrix is following, is to pair every soul person, we are about 20%, with unsouled or not completely souled people. So another soul people could come from us, but we all going to be controlled, because if you're grown up, if you're born into the organic family unity, then there is nobody around you to reflect the truth, Father is all about the football and a beer and nationalism, and mother is all about worrying about the money, hating the father, and drinking antidepressants. So they're not really folks you can talk about yoga and meditation or about interesting books, are they? And of course, that matrix doesn't want, for example, these people to go around and maybe to attract other people and form groups. Okay, this is for matrix simply bacteria really, they refer to me as a bacteria, and when I connect to them, I really can see how they see us. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm really unconsciously deeply connected to the Illuminati. They scan my mind, I automatically connect with them, sometimes incredibly deep, and I scan theirs. It's just very intimate. So, this is how they see us, more like this, yes, like these dots, I mean. This is, for them, this is not healthy. Really, you understand me? These are different types of bacteria. All these things I was explaining to my students because they're 17, 18, or 20. They speak some English, but they don't know what is a bacteria, what is a virus, and why is that important for them. You understand me? My job is not only to teach English. My job is to teach people how to live better. So how to live better, they need to understand what's bacteria, right? How to avoid them. And but now these photocopies come very handy for YouTube. And so this is how they see us. And yeah, so my final advice for love would be trust in love because it totally exists. It exists in you. It exists in the universe. It's very alive. It's very intelligent. Out of the love, a question was created: who really I am? Out of the love for the truth, and then the metaphysical evil as opponent was created later on. Somebody fundamentally in a heart opposite, but with intelligence and lots of power to test the challenger. Without ability to create energy, challenger does not create energy, but must feed them. So that was the that is the absolute unconditional love. It goes to this depth of understanding itself, and this is the extreme understanding. And so, what is the love? Love. What's love? Love. Love or love. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. All the same language. So what is love? You know it. You know it. You know it if you're mind, and if you're soulless, then you simply don't know it. You heard about it. You heard it itself. Like a water fuzzy feeling around, and it goes around, and it's powering, and it's beautiful, and so on, but you don't really know it, right? You don't know it because to know the love, you must be normal, and on top of that, you have to be super normal, you have to be soul. Then you're like this, and if you're like psychopath, then you're like that, right? So there are some people who really cannot feel love because in the frontal lobe, where the high cognitive functions are, where the compassion is, where telepathy is, of course, working from here to here, right? From here to here. These people cannot sense it. No power there, right? They don't have power there. This is normal, but I think us, it would be like all of it would be in light. Now imagine whole brain to be in light, right? Huh? Wouldn't that be great? Whole man, whole brain united and active. No dark holes. And I think that would be the visual reflection of love in work. So, thank you for going through these long videos. I know that I have like 30 real fans who are really going through my videos, which is really impressive because I'm not doing it. And although I should. And this is something private. I really would like to connect with you. I would like you to freely simply message me your concerns. What got you here? What are you afraid of? What do you want? your reflection. Don't be afraid of it. See, love is the ultimate cure for the fear, and fear is just disease. If it's not real fear, that poison which is milking your prana away from you. That's frightening. Send me your feedback. Send me your links. When I get internet, when I get computer, I will research. Eventually, I will. And don't be afraid to communicate. I know that many of you out there feel isolated from inside. There are many people who are extremely busy in schools, have many contacts, lots of activities throughout the day, but nobody is touching them inside. Nobody is touching their inner being. Nobody is. I'll give you another little digression, something that caught my mind. On Russia Today, there is a reportage about the Chinese kids dependent on the internet, and I was like, in couple of episodes, and I watched couple of episodes, and I was a little bit puzzled and a little bit shocked how difficult things are, how things progress. There was one kid, and he said, like, we were in a school somewhere, something between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. or even 9 p.m. It was like a tough school, and I know their school system. It's all about staying whole day in school and learning very little, but it's just draining the kids, and kids and parents love that. Excellent for them. They can relax. And really cruel system, and they've been in that school. They've been really drilling them big time, preparing for some big tests and so on to be best in the region. And he said, when I end up here, only here I could meet the people who like romantic novels and so on. I couldn't meet those people in the school, and I could totally relate to that kid. Like, I was going to school, and not that many kids been into punk rock and music and gothic and Leibach noise and trench coats and stuff like that. Only those who've been going to those kinds of classes and stuff. But and I met all these kids there. They've been sensitive. Those soul kids, really, who simply needed to drift away into the world of fantasy. In that particular sense, gaming, of course, in China and gaming. And their parents who are typical Chinese middle class people living in their shops, and these people really live in their shops. They close the shop, they sleep there, they open it in the morning when somebody is sleeping in the sleeping net. Other person is working, and shop is open whole night. Whole day, not whole night, from 8 to 8. This is normal time, and so on, and even more. And this is the system, and they're part of that rugged Chinese working machine, unsensitive, completely mesmerized by the success they're making, of course, and so on. And they have one child, and this child is now growing up absent from the fear of hunger. Has the money, but is completely emotionally alienated in a world which is, in many ways, this world is more alienated than a Western world. And this is going to shock you, because I was talking about big families and so on. But unless you don't have a big family, you see, everything is private. Even patios is something very normal on the West, that you have a patio, that you have a sidewalk, between, you have a house and a sidewalk and a street. Here, in many cases, in a Chinese system, you don't even have that. You simply have a shop and a street and then another shop and what should be patio is entrance to the shop or maybe parking space for the shop owner and whoever is supplying the shop and so on. It's not public. It has a small fences. So if you're either jumping those fences with little canals and so on, and their pots because it's really their private space, or you're immediately on the street. And just a little drain in between, and in Bandung that the drain is done out of the cheap cement, so it's not wise to step on it because many are broken and so they can collapse. Uh, so people are actually isolated. If they're not family connected, they're isolated, or they're connected through the institutions, through the schools. But then these systems again, they're rigid, but they're relaxed, but they're rigid. It's difficult to form relationships, and especially if talking about those deeper kids. And I'm talking about the soul people, and I'm talking about their need for love. I'm talking always about how we feel towards others. You see, I'm first member of that soul group, and then I'm member of a human race, and after that I'm a member of a white race. This is how, and then I'm man. And this is how it goes for other people as well. So, first time that. That's right. And but those kids, they touched me, and how desperate situation.